we can start. My name is Xueyan Shaw. I know it's hard to pronounce my first name. Just call me the last name Shaw. You know how it may. Anyway, I'm the rice breeder, medium grain rice breeder, working at the Division of Ag, University of Arkansas. I stationed in Stuttgart, Arkansas. My mentor, Dr. Steve Linscomb, gave a talk after me. You probably see my topics, which I realize that that's pretty deep a hole for myself. But hopefully, if I cannot get out, Steve, you can bail me out. First, I give a little introduction myself. I worked in the state, LSU accent. 12 years before I moved to Arkansas. I started as a specialty rice breeder for aromatic rice. Briefly take on some additional duty like medium grain rice and the conventional long grain. I worked with Dr. Jim Wall, initiated our hybrid rice breeding program at LSU. During my career, I raised 9 varieties. Co-released 18 of them, most of it still went Dr. Steve. Variety including Jupiter, Titan, Jasmine, Jasmine 2, Della 2, most recently I released 2 Clearfield varieties, CLL115 and CLM04. This year I released another conventional medium grain called the Lynx. Everybody knows rice is very important in Arkansas. Arkansas is #1 rice producing state, accounts for about 40% of the rice production in the U.S. The landscape of rice production or the variety development fundamentally changed during the last 2 decades. If we could go back 20 years, everything will be occupied with a pure line variety. Then rice tech take over. The hybrids in 2002, you see in Arkansas, we get 1% hybrid. Most variety grow either Wells, Bingo, Cypress. But you look in 2019, the hybrids make up about 50% acreage based on Dr. Hockey. Pure line only down to about 45%. So the state of public rice breeding, it's a long history. Started in 1931, which primarily ARS scientists as a breeder, working with state agriculture experimental stations. Right now, of course, the breeding is carried out by the state. The science and technology, not only on the rice, advanced over the years, but actually exploded last 2 decades. For the rice, you probably can see this familiar sign. The hybrids, the Clearfield, and the Pavisia, and the full page, and the more is coming. The public rice breeders or breeding programs required to do those kind of breeding. Not only the pure line with the proprietary traits like Clearfield, but also we need to develop the public hybrids. But look, the reality is that we got leveled funding or reduced the funding since the 1980s. You know the cost in the last 30+ years skyrocketed. Rice breeding not in its infancy, like in 50s or 60s. Rice breeding is pretty mature, so the outstanding germplasm or genotype is very hard, very rare. It's very harder to come by. What that means is it means you need a larger populations. So if we do business as usual, without additional funding, we just spread out and limit the resources, hopefully to accommodate additional tasks in the breeding. Definitely going to be holding ongoing breeding efforts for the conventional pure line varieties. And the question is what and how. We came to the crossroad. The approach in the University of Arkansas, we try to streamline the operation to maximize the efficiency, take advantage of the winter nursery in Puerto Rico, try to doing that without sacrifice the conventional breeding. Meanwhile, we can accommodate additional tasks like hybrids, like a clearfield breeding or breeding for the provisional rice. I take the example of the crossing. Everybody knows make a cross is the first step of develop a variety. That rice, unfortunately, has a perfect flower. What that means, in each flower, you get a male and a female organ. In order to produce a cross, you got to emasculate or disable the male organ. Emasculation can be done in numerous ways, but we chosen this way. This is hot water treat. You treat with 45 degrees Celsius, about 5 minutes. You pretty much can kill most of the pollen, while the female is still receptible to the designate the male pollen. My approach, everybody, all hands on board. So we can do the cross, or did a cross in a short period of time. We can do a bunch of them. You probably can see that. The cross made, we either plant in the greenhouse in later fall, or we next spring, early spring, we germinate in the greenhouse and transplant to the field. This is another use called lot. You probably can see last 5 years crossing. This is just for the breeding cross, not the hybrids. I'm not talking about hybrids today. Breeding cross, we made a bunch of them. About 468 in 2015. This year we made, last year we made 851. Most amazing thing is, we only dedicated 11 days to make a cross. Actually, last year we had a record. Only did 7 days. We produced that much cross. We're not a random cross. We designate cross. You probably can see different combinations, different unique male, female, and unique male. Average seeds per cross is 25. It's a huge success. The F2 seeds we normally ship to Puerto Rico in late summer. Early fall. This picture was taken actually in the middle of August. Middle of August for us in Arkansas, we still join the field, starting, working, try to get ready to harvest. That's for our current generation, our current line. Our future line actually already set the roots in Puerto Rico. So we travel over there in November, middle-November. We select, we harvest it, we process on site. You see open air lab. We turn around to grow second generation. That's going to be F3. Then in April, we came in to select whatever uniform enough, the F3 rows, we bulk it, thrash it, processed. So in this way, we only take 2 years from making cross to have something like a plots in the field. Technology actually going a long way. You probably remember to do the test in the field. Conservation tillage here, we actually, all my breeding operation is minimum tillage. It's a still bed. In old days, we have to measure and spray paint. Then have the flag. In 2014, I don't know, the first one, we use the GPS guide autopilot to pull the trip line. You can see the trip line to plant. Not only save the time, not only make it beautiful, you see the plot, This is 600 feet from this side to this thing. But improve the quality of the test. It's make it easier to fertilize, easier to spray. This you see the panic row, which is a building block of the breeding program. This footstep actually between the pass. Between the pass, the space is actually the same as within the pass. So because of GPS guidance, big improvement is here. This is automated weighing and moisture meter, moisture apparatus called the Harvest Master. With this, Mr. Tony Betty, he's cutting the plot. Once he finishes cut, we already know the weight of this plot and the moisture contents of this plot. Then everything recorded in the computer. Once he done cut this trial, he loaded the computer. He can send me the data. I will know which of these entries perform better. So I can zero in on this entry, try to get seeds purified at increased to get into next stage of trial. Lots of painstaking preparation in the lab. This actually we borrowed from the state's program. We loaded by module, like a set, 100-row wide set, then put it into the field, whatever measurement of the field, we can fit it in. Then the quality, always very critical for us. Not only the milling yields, but also the appearance of the grain. Each year we go through the milling, test milling, about 5,000 samples from my lab alone. That has to be done in 2 months period of time. Before this Zachariah machine is available, we always use the McGear 2, which require 2 persons to operating at the speed half of this single machine with just 1 person operating. So that's also generate lots of savings for us. This wind seeder, you probably heard, we can precisely measure the chalkiness, the grain dimension, and also the uniformity of the grain. All these improve the quality of selection, effectiveness of the selection. We rely on the cutting edge technology such as the molecular marker system selections. For the traits like the cooking quality, like a blast resistance, you cannot see it. The breeder like to see, use the eye to select. All these kinds of things are very hard to see, or need a certain condition for the disease to appear. So when I started a job in Arkansas, well, we started small, doing some cooking quality. I had less than 3,000 data points each year generated. In 2019, we already expand, including lots of traits like PETA, PI9, which is another broad spectrum resistant, blast resistant gene we are working on. Also the cooking quality. I'd like to do more, but all these things not free, unfortunately. This table a little bit fuzzy, just showing you the new release came from a University of Arkansas rice breeding program the last 2 years. All the red, that means the new releases. Last year, the year before last year, we had 2 Clearfield new releases, CLV and a CLM04. You probably heard this from Dr. Tim Walker is here, Horizon Egg. This orders from my program. The CLV is semi-dwarf long grain, showing a similar maturity here, but actually going to be a little bit earlier than the CL153. Yield potential, has some yield potential, got excellent yield milling. Got a PETA and a PIK for the blast resistance for this line, this variety. Then CIM04, which is a clear field medium grind. This is the first clear field medium grind came out of the University of Arkansas breeding program. You can see here agronomic level is similar to Jupiter, slightly taller, yield is very competitive. I get excellent milling on this CIM04. The grain quality is good. We are still working with cattlex right now, try to get this thing approved as soon as possible. 2019, we got 3 more new releases. I got Clearfield release from Dr. Karen Moldenhauer's program. I highlight here because it's only 2 years in this LPT trial. You probably can see outstanding yield potential. And a conventional long-grain release jewel from Karen's program too, which is similar to the diamond. Yield looks slightly lower, but I got a good milling. Also had a Peter for the blast resistance. From my program, I released links, a conventional medium grind, which is very similar to Jupiter in the agronomically. We feel going to have a yield potential over Jupiter or Titan. This is the first release from my program since I joined the University of Arkansas. This is a Titan. This is a foundation seeds field. This grew in 2015. For the conservation standpoint, the Titan matures about 6 days earlier than the Jupiter, while it still have the similar yield potential. So that means less water is used, less resources are used. This is CL15. This is actually from Blue Hill, Missouri. CIM04 and the links. The latest release from my program, I feel this one going to have a yield potential. The foliage is still a little bit pale green compared to the Titan. One more thing in the pipeline I'd like to bring your attention is this line is 1127. You know there's an agreement signed between U.S. and China on the trade deal. China can be opened up with the potential marketing for us for the southern medium grind. You always heard people talk about cow roast, how fancy it is. The southern medium grind, how grayish or dark color. This line actually, this is from different tribe, on-farm tribe. It's much wider than whatever we had in the southern medium grind. Also have, it's a pretty looking rice, it's very good yield. We try to grow 2 acre increases. Anyone want to expand your marketing, we're going to try to help you to provide you with some samples, mid-rice samples that can show your potential client. We also work in the hybrids. These are Xueyan hybrids after storm. You probably can see, if you've been to our station for the field day, this is observation day. All the hybrids are leaning largely. Only this is stand. We also try to use the technology to synchronize or nick the flowering time between the female. This male straw line. This pollinator is about 2 weeks later, maturity-wise. So we seed this pollinator about 2 weeks earlier. But we leave this middle blank. After 2 weeks, we seed it again. This female male straw line. We achieve a pretty good net, but not a perfect, but we have enough seed produced for the trial. Last thing I'd like to mention is that pervasive rice breeding. Compared to the LSU's program, I was very young. It's less than a year old. We got seeds last year, February the 7th. I got seeds at 3 o'clock from the BSF. I germinated in 3:15. This is taken about middle of February. It's germinated. It's a little pale because genetics, also the temperature. We made a cross, first cross in May. Then we plant these cross seeds in the greenhouse, spray with Pavisia in June. We transplant some of them into the field, the rest of them still here. We made a second run cross, the BC1F1. In total, made 124 back crosses with the average seeds over 100. Most of the seeds we ship to Puerto Rico to grow direct drill to the field. The rest of the seeds we germinated in the greenhouse. These BC1F1 seeds, remember. The plants right now, we try to make the BC2F1. Hopefully another 2-run cross can be made this year. We're looking at, going to have some line available maybe 2022. So this is the population. I got a small budget in my program, but I maintain a huge population. In summary, the last 2 decades, rice production in the southern U.S. has gone through a dramatic change. Primarily the hybrids, and also the Clearfield and Pavisia rice most recently. Public rice breeding program have to breed those things, in addition to what they do traditionally. So we had to learn the technology to improve the efficiency, to more effective conduct the trial, so that way we can achieve this additional task, to do an additional task without sacrificing what we traditionally do. So that's my point. I'm probably sitting in the deep Bahama. Hopefully Steve's going to be bailing me up. Anyway, that's what I have. Thank you. We can answer questions later on.